whose coach was dealing with physical situations. Alex Smith, they got rid of the quarterback. They've been in chaos all year from the weakest division. His job, Bruce Arians' job, could be on the line if he loses. For the record, the more this offense with Tampa in the last 6 weeks has been Tom's offense, the better it's gotten. And Bruce Arians doesn't have a reputation as, a guy that grinds all night. Bruce Arians got pressure. He loses, my guess is he could be gone. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers. Folks, he is so far beyond regular season excellence. It's one of the great talents of all time. He's got unbelievable weapons. No more excuses with a coach. He gets a bye. There's no other great team in the NFC. This is the year he's got to win. He's got to win this year. Aaron's got to win. I think he's going to win a lot of games in the playoffs. But come on. He's going to be a huge favorite at home, off a bye. He's got elite pieces. And again, he hasn't played enough home games at Lambeau. Now he gets them in a year when kind of the NFC's top teams are all kind of shaky right now. Jared Goff is hurt. Drew Brees is old. Seattle's offense is right now atrocious. Pressure's on Aaron Rodgers. Here's a third one. Drew Brees. Dude, you open with Mitch Trubisky at home. You have, in my opinion, a stacked roster. I think the Saints have the best roster in the NFL. I really do. I mean, we talk about their offensive pieces, Alvin Kamara, Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas, their O-line. Their defense is top 5 in everything. He's at home. His arm, he got hurt. His arm should be fresh. This is the end of the road for him. You want to be a great broadcaster. You don't want to end your career losing to Mitch Trubisky at home. There's real pressure on Drew Brees. I'll give you another one. Big Ben. He's got the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL. He's got the defensive player of the year on his roster. He took a week off to get refreshed. He gets to play Cleveland. Do you know he's 24, 2-1 against the Browns? He gets to go up against a rookie head coach. The Browns have COVID issues in the building. They won't have their head coach, which is overstated, but it's something. There's a lot of pressure on Big Ben, who took a week off to get rested to play at home against a COVID-plagued football team. And then number 5, I'll say Lamar Jackson. There is a narrative building. I would acknowledge that. It's silly, but it's a narrative. But even with Lamar Jackson, if he just wins one playoff game, the narrative ends. And right now, it's a silly narrative. He's won 81% of his games. He's what Lamar Jackson is what you see with great players. He's a victim of Lamar Jackson. He's so good, so early, so explosive, so fast. We think, well, how can he not win playoff games? Because Bill Parcells struggled too? Because Peyton Manning's career playoff record, 27 playoff games for Peyton Manning. He went 14-13. And for the record, even the last Super Bowl, he was mostly carried by defense. So I want to hear about Lamar Jackson pressure. Aaron Rodgers, Bruce Arians, Brees, Big Ben, that's real pressure, not just a narrative. Lamar's is overwhelmingly narrative, and if he wins, it will thankfully go away. Oh, so excited today. Very excited. It is interesting that with birthdays, the closer you are to death, you get rewarded with sugar. It is interesting, isn't it, how it works? I feel today full of potassium and energy. There'll be a crash probably. We have Greg Cosell, the start of next hour. We have Joe Burrow on. And let me just say this about Joe Burrow. So sometimes the media, and I think we kind of laugh at this. We push back at this a lot. There'll be these stories that aren't really stories. It is hard to fill 3 hours a day. It's hard to write 4 or 5 columns a week. Sometimes you make a reach. But this idea, I didn't like Joe Burrow. I've been communicating with him on social media. I push back on the idea that he was LeBron, Brady, Peyton Manning. No, I'm not joking. He was compared to those in articles, and I kept bringing him on. I said, he's Tony Romo. Going to be popular, a gamer, win a division at some point, win games, talked about, successful. plays like him, looks like him, games like him. And it's amazing how that became you don't like him. No, I just said, could we take a deep breath? He's going to the Bengals. We all know where you land kind of matters. Don't you think Josh Allen's elevated a little by Sean McDermott? Don't you think Lamar's elevated a little by John Harbaugh, the great front office of the Ravens? You don't think Big Ben's been elevated through the years by Tomlin and the Rooneys? So Joe Burrow's an adult. Joe Burrow has reached out to me, and I've reached out to him, and I'm like, come on the show today. So I'm very excited
It's very exciting.
And I said earlier, I'd like to be his friend.
I thought it was very nice that he said you guys talked, and he said he was going to come on the